Okay, so me and then Mrs. Waters is joining us. My presentation, I will, well, what are we going to cover in today's presentation? So I'm the first presentation of this week. I will be doing this presentation again on Monday. And again, I'm recording this session in case you miss anything. But as I said to a couple of people as they're coming in, I am the boring presentation of this week because I'm the logistical presentation. So I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about the summer program, about the next steps that you need to take as we inch closer to the summer program. So what are anything that you have to do? What are those check boxes that you have to check off? Some of you have been actively checking things off and communicating with myself or Brandon for weeks now, but this will just all serve as a reminder, no matter where you are in the process, of what are the next steps. So before I get started, I want to just talk about what is EOF, right? So you signed up for this program. When you check that box off on your Rutgers application, you were like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll do EOF, but let's talk about what it actually is. Some of you know, some of you've had siblings that have been in the program, or you have friends who've been through the program. But for those of you who haven't, our program is, well, first, it's a state-funded program. So you can find EOF through many institutions throughout the state of New Jersey, and that includes community colleges, four-year colleges. So you've probably heard of EOF at different colleges as well. Our program supports students who are from financially disadvantaged backgrounds, and we do that in two ways. So you're already in that first way, right? So you applied to get into Rutgers-Camden through the EOF program. So we help admit students into higher education. The second and probably most important aspect of that is what we do while you're here. So we support students, there's my cat, we support students as they move through their college experience. So that support is comprehensive. So we provide personal support, academic support, career support, and then financial support. So that really starts now with the summer program. The summer program is a free experience for you. You will be taking a college class that normally you would have to pay for out of pocket. So we pay for all of those expenses. And then as you start in the fall semester, you will receive a grant that will go towards your tuition and fees. So that's free money that will go towards your tuition and fees to help offset some of those costs of college. And as long as you remain financially eligible and are participating in the program, you can receive that grant for up to 6 years of study. So EOF is just a full around support program. But before I move further, I think it's important to tell you who our team is, and many of them are here today. They are monitoring the chat, so if you have questions while I'm presenting, please feel free to throw your questions in there, and they are happy to answer them. Some of you are familiar with us already, so there's me. I'm Miss Randy Ferguson. I'm the assistant director. We have Dr. Marcia Basong. She is the director of the EOF program. She's also the assistant chancellor for student academic success. That title means that she oversees many programs within our division. So you will become very familiar with her. You will see her around campus. She's wonderful, very supportive, and looks forward to meeting all of you. There's Mr. Brandon Quiles, who's here. Many of you are probably very familiar with his name because he's been emailing you, calling you, texting you, harassing you to help you get through this process. And then what I would like to call the blood, heart, soul of our program is our EOF counselors, Mrs. Caroline Waters, Mr. Terrence Jones, and Mrs. Sarah Rubright. These are your counselors. These are the people that are going to be working with you one-on-one for the next 4 to 6 years. They are your support system. I think it's important to talk about what your counselor is very quickly. So our program, a lot of people think of EOF as just a financial support program. Financial support is there, but I think the support services we provide through our counseling is everything. So if in high school you had a guidance counselor, a coach, a mentor, a teacher, somebody, anyone that you were like, that was my person, I went to them about everything. If I had questions, I went to them, I vented to them, whatever. That's who basically your counselor is. So they're here to support you, help you meet your goals, and just be there for you as you navigate college. So the Summer Institute, what everyone has been kind of asking questions about. You've seen Summer Institute in emails. on our website, everywhere, right? So that's the first step as a first year student in the EOF program. All students who come into our program as first year students come in through this summer program. Typically in years past, it's been residential, but in the past couple of years, because of the pandemic, it's been virtual. But either way, it's the first stop in your journey in EOF at Rutgers-Camden. Before I kind of get into what it is, I think it's important to talk about what the impact it has. I know the initial feeling is like, man, you're gonna make me do something in the summer right after I graduate high school. And I get that. And every year, some people say that to us, but then when it's over, the whole script completely changes. A lot of students tell us that is one of the most impactful aspects of their first year of college, that they got to meet new people. They felt like when they started in the fall semester, they were way ahead of every other first year student. They knew where things are. They knew what they had to do. There wasn't any confusion. And that's huge. You know, when you start in high school or you start anything new, it's very overwhelming and very scary because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. But what we're trying to do in the summer is kind of mitigate that, right? So when you come in the fall, you're like, yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know how to log into the Canvas, and I know how to check my email, and I know how to look up my schedule, and I know how to do this. Whereas like maybe every other first year student who doesn't have this experience is like, I have no clue what I'm doing. And they're trying to figure out in that first week. So what you can expect in the first week or for the summer program is a lot of things. And I'm going to kind of touch on each one, not in too much detail, but just enough. So the first thing is you're all going to take a college course. So we've been really hammering this placement test, getting your placement test done. And there's two reasons for that, right? One is because you need your placement test. Everyone needs to do a placement test because that's how you get scheduled for the fall semester. So that's how the university knows like what kind of math class do you take, what kind of English class do you take, so that they can then figure out, okay, this is your major, these should be your classes for your first semester. More importantly, we are offering a summer class to you, and that summer class is going to depend on what your placement test is. So I know most of you at this point have taken it, but it's important to get that done. So you're going to either take Intro to Communication or a math course, depending on your placement. In addition to the college course you'll be taking, you'll be participating in a number of workshops and activities. So the two main academic ones are an academic skill building workshop. So that'll be twice a week, and it will focus on things like, how do you manage your time? How do you take notes effectively? How do you like read PowerPoints and lectures and all those things in a way that are helpful to you? So basically the kind of the ins and outs of successful study skills for college. If you've never really had to study in high school or that wasn't really your thing, you're going to have to make it your thing in college because you can't just skate by without studying. So this is going to help you kind of give some tips and tricks to help you figure out what's the best way that I'm going to have to study for me or structure my time. You're also going to be participating in a writing workshop and some one-on-one writing tutoring. So we're not offering an English class this summer. Instead, you are going to be working with tutors that work in our learning center, and they are going to help you revise an essay, which we'll talk about that essay in a little bit. They're also going to just be teaching you about some of the ins and outs of college writing. Rutgers is a research institution. So because we are a research institution, you will be doing a lot of writing in your 4 to 5 years here. It's not just your English classes. If you're taking like a Psych 101 class, you'll have to do some writing. So there's going to be a lot of writing in the next 4 to 5 years. And so this will help you give you some tips and tricks as you move into the fall semester about, okay, what are things that I need to know to write a good paper? You'll also be taking Raptor 101. Raptor 101 is a course that we created in EOF that's basically like a Rutgers 101. So you'll be taking it with your EOF counselor. And that's my cat, don't mind him. So you'll be taking it with your EOF counselor, and you'll have about maybe 15 to 20 other of your peers in this class. And basically, we're just going to give you information about what do you need to know about Rutgers-Camden? What do you need to know about becoming a college student? What are some successful things or strategies that you can help employ when you start in September? We're also going to give you a lot of space to kind of reflect and share with each other about your journey to this point and what you want to do when you are at Rutgers-Camden. Even if you don't know what your major is going to be or what your career is going to be, what do you want to do while you're in college? What do you want to be involved in? Who do you want to become? So we're going to spend a lot of time in that class talking about those things and reflecting about kind of where you're going and where you want to be in the next few years. The best thing about that class is going to be a lot of chance to get to know other students in the program. So it'll be a little bit smaller, it'll be in a Zoom setting, but there will be a lot of opportunity for engagement, which is will be really helpful, so that when you start in the fall semester, you have familiar faces, you have people that you know when you start. And that to me is one of the best parts of the program, having already a group or a tribe of people that you can call your friends before you start in the fall semester, so that you don't feel lonely or lost in college. And last but not least, they are here today. Many of them are here today, but we have peer coaches. So these students are upperclassmen EOF students, and students have been through our program and are familiar with our services, and they will be doing some programming with you guys this summer. And so we are excited to have them as part of our program to help you all. So you'll be meeting them as well this week. And so yeah, I'm very excited for the peer coaches. I know Miss Sarah is too. So what are some key takeaways? I just said a lot, and I don't expect you guys to know everything or know what Summer Institute is. I know it feels very abstract. It doesn't feel real. Like I'm telling you all of these things that are going to happen. And honestly, you're really not going to understand until you're in it. But here's some key things that you can think about as you prepare yourself mentally for the next couple weeks about, well, what is expected of me? What am I going to be doing during these 5 weeks? So number one is that we expect you to be engaged and present. So your schedules will be pretty much from Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You expect to be busy between those hours. So you'll have your class, you'll have meetings, workshops that you will be attending, etc. On Fridays, we're trying to have you out and done by 1 o'clock on Fridays, so you can enjoy your Friday afternoon, so you can work if you need to. And so that's pretty much the schedule. It may vary depending on if you have a meeting with your counselor that might be outside of those hours. You might have to have a writing workshop outside of those hours, but the bulk of the activities happen during those periods. We don't do anything on weekends, so the weekend are yours, the nights are pretty much yours. So there is still time and space to do other things like working if you are working. And I'll talk about some things around that in a second. The other thing that's important is communication. So Brandon and I have probably already been emphasizing this a little bit when we talk to you, but we understand that this is like full 5 weeks of the program, right? Anything can happen. You could have a day where your Zoom doesn't work, or your internet's not working, or something's happening at home and you just can't log on, or maybe you're not feeling well. This is 5 weeks of your life, so we don't expect everything to go smoothly all the time. But the most important thing is to communicate with us when those things are happening. So if something's going on and you're like, I can't log on, or I'm struggling, or can't turn my camera on even though you're asking me to, let somebody know. Let your counselor know, let me know, let the presenter know, let anyone know, and we are happy to work with you. We don't expect everything to go perfectly. Nothing really ever does virtually. So the more we know upfront, the more we can support you. We understand it's the same for us. We have days where our Zooms don't work and our internets don't work and things are chaos at home. So, but as long as you communicate, it will work. And honestly, just do your best is all I can ask for in this program. We don't expect you to know everything. We don't expect you to get everything right. Honestly, the reason why we do this summer program is so that you can work out some of those kinks, right? Like, oh man, I forgot to put that Zoom meeting on my calendar, or I forgot to write this down. So it kind of helps you practice about what's this going to look like in the fall semester? What am I going to do then? So good, bad, scary, in between. Embrace the process. We know this is a very nerve-wracking thing for many people. We know this is a scary first experience, but we're very excited for you. And I guarantee you probably after the first week, you're going to be like, all right, I got this down. It's the same thing every week. It's not going to change much. And we're all here to support you, your counselor, your coaches. myself, Brandon, everyone in this program is excited to have you a part of this program and are ready to welcome you. So don't feel like no questions are stupid questions, and don't feel like you have to just like pretend and float and not know what you're doing. Please let us know, because it'll really set you up for success in the fall. So I just said all these things that I expect from you, right? What I need you to do while you're here, what you should expect to be doing. But what can you expect from this experience? What are you going to take away from the 5 weeks? Well, one is you get a free college course credit. You may not know now, but when you're in school and a year from now, you're like, I got to take a summer class. And you realize it costs like $1,500 to take that summer class. You'll remember how nice it was to have a free college class paid for, because they are expensive and it comes out of your pocket. So that's number one. You're going to get that free college credit. We are giving out stipends for successful completion of the program. We do realize that many of you have summer jobs or just working in general to help support yourself, help support your family. And this is tough, right? So on one hand, we very much understand the need to work. On the other hand, we're trying to kind of simulate what it's going to be like in the fall semester. So right now, you're going to take one college class, you're going to be in a lot of activities, but in the fall, most of you will be taking 4 to 5 college classes. And outside of those 4 to 5 classes, you'll be expected to do papers, projects, all sorts of things in between that's going to suck up a lot of your time. So it's going to be you having to figure out, okay, well, how much can I reasonably work and be successful in school? Starting this college process is a commitment. You are committing to yourself, to education, to a higher education, to something different, something better. And that takes a little bit of sacrifice. So that means you can't work 40 hours a week and try to go to school full time. There's very few people I know who do that, especially in their first year. The first year, even though we try our best to make our summer experience kind of look like the fall semester, it doesn't. I'm going to be honest, because we're only giving you one class. And if you're in a nursing major or science major, your classes are going to be harder than some of your peers. So some of you may have a lot more work than others. So this is a good time to start figuring out, how am I going to structure my time? How many hours can I reasonably work? How am I going to have those tough conversations maybe with family members of that I can't work 40 hours a week anymore and get away with it? You may have gotten away with it in high school. I know many people who've had this past year because of virtually, but it's not, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work in college. So we're hoping that by helping you out money-wise, that this will kind of help offset some of the costs of not being able to work. And it's only 5 weeks. You get all of August to yourself. So if you were like, I want to go back to work full time in August, you could be working full time right now. It's just those 5 weeks that we're asking for you to be fully committed to this experience. With that commitment, you are going to become a part of a very supportive community. You will have staff, faculty, counselors, peers, all of these people that are here and are so excited for you and can't wait to watch you be successful. I cannot emphasize how much of an advantage of this is. You are going to be introduced to people who work with our offices pretty frequently. So you're going to meet people from the Career Center, from the Dean of Students office, from the Tutoring Center. You're going to meet the Wellness Center, and then of course your EOF counselors, your peer coaches. You'll meet other EOF students that are in the program. So you're going to have this whole tribe of supportive people that are here to help you. And help you be successful. So that is a huge, huge advantage. We are a small campus. Rutgers-Camden is small, so that is also great. But EOF is even smaller, so it's like a tiny world in another tiny world. And that's going to be really helpful as you move into the fall semester. So, and lastly, a couple of things. You're going to have, I mentioned this earlier, you're going to have the opportunity to reflect on and outline your goals for college with your counselor this summer. That's so key to have a plan. Like I said, you don't need to know your major. You might even change your major after your first semester when you take those first couple classes and you're like, this isn't for me. That happens all the time. But knowing kind of why am I here? What do I want to do? And then your counselor can help you figure those things out. And then you're going to get some of those very important academic skills and just understanding. Higher education college is a whole new universe. There's like different language that is not used outside of those 4 walls of the institution. Like I don't know if any of you have heard of a registrar's office, but we'll teach you all of those things, those key terms that come up that are like most people have never heard before. We'll tell you the ins and outs and the expectations, like what is different between high school, college? Why is it different? Why do people say that? So we'll give you all of that information before you start, and hopefully all of this is to make your transition into the fall semester much easier. So I do want to give you just a quick snapshot of what sample schedules look like. You will receive your schedule as you complete financial verification. Those will start going out probably towards the end of next week. But for honestly, like I said earlier, most of your schedules are the same. They're not going to really vary much. There might be a meeting or two that's different than other people's, but you will see that Monday through Thursday. This is if you're taking a communications course, right? So you'll have intro to communications from 9:30 to 11:20 Monday through Thursday. And then you may have a writing skills workshop, a study skills seminar. So all of these will pretty much look the same. And then if you're in math, that's what your schedule would look like. So in the morning, you may have like a math group, and then some days are busier than others. So you see this, some days you only have a couple meetings, and other days you have like 4 or 5 meetings. So it's going to vary. And honestly, that's really what college looks like, depending on how your schedule is set up. You might have like really full days on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and like nothing on Tuesday and Thursdays. So it's going to be very similar to how your college semesters look like. So I've talked about the Summer Institute. There's so much more to say about the Summer Institute, but honestly, you're really not going to know until you experience it. So let's talk about what you have to do to get there, to get to the Summer Institute experience. That's about 3+ weeks away at this point. I'm going to go through each of these points individually, but we're going to talk about financial verification, placement test and major registration form, an EOF questionnaire, an EOF essay, and a Clifton strengths assessment. I put a little scanner, so you should be able to, I tested this on myself, but you should be able to hold your phone up to that scanner and it goes right to our first year checklist. We constantly update it, but it provides all of these things and more information also about your immunizations that you'll have to get. If you plan on living on housing on campus and you haven't applied yet, you should apply now. There's a link on there as well for that. So there's a lot of information on our website if you need more information that I'll be covering today. So the first step is complete financial verification. I want to say this is the most important step, but there are other important steps within this, but this is number one. We are a state-funded program. And as a state-funded program, we are under very strict guidelines that all students have to be shown to be financially eligible for the program before they start the program, because we are giving out state money and they do not want us to give out money to students that are not supposed to be in the program. That is why we're asking you for all of these financial documents. Some of you had to do that when you applied initially, but this is just the final step in that process. At this point, all of you have received numerous emails, text messages, phone calls, everything in between from myself or Brandon saying what you do or do not need, and telling you to reach out to us with any questions. You also have been receiving emails from the Office of Financial Aid about what you also need. So I would say if you're like, what documents? Check your email. That's step one. I guarantee you probably missed like 10 messages from me, myself or Brandon. But you can also, if you scan that link, it brings you to the document portal and it can show you what documents you're missing as well. But in the emails that I've sent out to students, I've attached all of these documents. I've sent you directions about how to get your tax transcripts. Most of you have been responsive and been working on your documents. I know many of you are waiting on non-filer statements or things from the IRS, but you've done everything else. That's fine. We understand that that takes a while. But if you haven't even opened a document yet, you got to get onto it because we're getting close to the end of the window in which we can admit students or have students move forward. So please check your email. We are constantly reaching out. And there's definitely all sorts of ways to get help, right? So you can email myself or Brandon, and we will do the best that we can to answer questions. You can also reach out directly to Mrs. Lakeisha Villan Cortez. She is our rock star. She is our person in financial aid. She is the person who reads all of your financial documents. So when you send something to Brandon or myself, that's who we're forwarding it to, because she is the person who is checking to make sure these documents are correct and determining that you can move forward. She is wonderful. She's very nice. I know a lot of you have met with her already in some sort of capacity, but she made sure to tell me this week that if you guys have questions, please email her. She's also happy to set up one-on-one meetings with you via phone or Skype or whatever, to help you with any questions. If you're like, I don't know if I filled this document out right, or is this the right thing that you're asking for? Like, she is happy to help with all of those things. So please utilize your resources. Use us. Use Miss Lakeisha. We are here to support you in this process. But the first step is to check your email. Make sure you know what you have to owe, because that's all. And for some of you, it's just filling out documents and sending it back in. It's real quick. But just make sure you're asking those questions. Right now, the due date for our documents is June 11th. So that is less than 1 week away. However, if you are working with us, if you are been communicating with one of us, all of us, whatever, then we are willing to work with you. And we are going to give you a new date to submit documents by. But if you have not been communicating, you haven't been responding to a text or an email or anything, then we are less inclined to give you that extension, because we don't know if you're still interested in the program or not. So you have to let us know if you're struggling. We are happy to help you. We know this process can take you a while, but please, please, please communicate. So we will be in touch about that. I know myself and Brandon emailed pretty much everyone in the past week or so with what you still owe. We are happy to give you updates if you're not sure. I'm happy to scan over documents and tell you if it looks okay. I can't tell you for sure, but if you missed a signature, I'll let you know, or something like that. So please, please, please reach out to us. This is one of the most important parts, if not the most important part of the program. I'm going to go ahead.
I just also quickly want to add, one, I'm excited that we get to have you all in the same Zoom room, but also I know with this process, a lot of what you need is going to be information from your parents or guardians. If you think it could be helpful, if any parents are in the room right now listening in on this, if there's some documents that you're confused about, or you're a little hesitant, or want to have a better understanding why that's needed, please feel free. You are welcome to connect your parents with us as well, or connect your parents with Lakeisha, as we are happy to kind of talk through how to get this information, why this information is needed, and for them to really understand as well why getting this documentation and going through this financial verification process, how it really is for the benefit of you later on. We don't want you to miss out on the community, on the grant funding, on the learning and the workshops that are really going to prepare you, not just for the summer, but 4 years down the line, right, and beyond. So we don't want one document or two documents that you're stuck on, or that you're hesitant about sharing, really blocking what could really be something that can really make or break your experience. So please, if there is any hesitation around those documents, things are confusing, y'all got my cell. Hit me up, give me a call, give me a FaceTime, whatever you need. And let's have that conversation so we can get you across the finish line, ideally by June 11th, but if not, we'll make it work. All right?
Thank you.
Sorry, Ms. Ferguson.
No, you're good. Brandon is a huge support. So if Brandon's been reaching out to you, make sure to give him like an air high five or whatever, because he's been helping me a lot. And it's usually just me doing this. So I'm loving Brandon here helping me out. So placement test stuff, most of you have done your placement test at this point, so I am not going to harp on this, but it is really important that you have your placement test done. You got a link from the Office of New Student Programs, or also called ONSP. And they told you what you have to take. Do you have to take English? Do you have to take math? Do you have to take both? Foreign language. So all of those things were given to you via email. You also have to do your major registration form that tells the university what major you're interested in, and that helps place you into your advising and registration day, aka where you get your fall schedule at, where you meet with your academic advisor. That also should have been sent to you, but it is on our first year checklist, so you can also fill it out from there as well. So make sure to do that so you can get your fall schedule earlier and you have a better chance of getting classes or a schedule that might be more helpful for you. Okay, so the other thing is we're going to have you complete a quick questionnaire. I'm going to throw this in the chat in a minute, this link. But one of the things that we want to make sure is that we are supporting you through this entire process. And so basically this link is just asking you some background questions about like just, you know, your address, your phone number, all of those things. It's also going to ask you like your t-shirt size, but just also your internet connection and those type of things. So we know that we have a better understanding of who you are as you're coming in and if there's anything we need to do extra to help support you in this process. It's literally like less than 10 questions, so it should take you about a minute or two to complete. So it's a very easy part. The essay is the other big, there's two big next steps that I'm going to go over. You don't have to memorize this at all because I am going to send you an email later this week, probably by Wednesday or Thursday of this week, with the essay instructions. It's not a huge lift, and it should be easy in a lot of ways because you're talking about yourself, which is the easiest thing to write about. But we're going to be asking you to write a 5-paragraph essay. They're going to basically be answering the questions: who am I, why am I here, and who do I wish to become? If you've read Michelle Obama's Becoming book, you will see that I have a quote on the side from her. This is what it's kind of based on. Our whole theme this summer is becoming, right? So you are becoming a college student, right? And then you're becoming an EOF student. And then you are going to go through a lot of transitions. So you're going to become different people and different versions of yourself throughout your life. So we want to know, who do you want to become? Who are you now? And who do you envision yourself being in this space? I will give you all the information that you need to know in the email. So this includes the essay prompt. It has a lot of details and a lot of tips or tricks to help you write the essay. Where and how do you submit it? And the deadline, which will be Sunday, June 27th at noon. So we need all of the essays before the summer program starts, because that is what you are going to be working on with your writing tutor. They're going to help you. It could be depending on where you are. So if you need help with some sentence structure or grammar, they'll help you with that. But they also will be like, how do you make this a stronger conclusion or an opening statement? All of those things that are going to come up when you're writing essays in your classes. So if you have not read the book, definitely read the book, as Brandon put in there. But yes, so this will be a very personal essay that will be used to help kind of us still get to better know you, but also help with your writing. You're also going to be, when I send this email about the essay, I'm also going to send you some information about the CLIFTON Strengths Assessment. So everyone is going to take this assessment, and it takes about 45 minutes. It's not super long or super heavy lift of your day, but it's, again, on this theme of becoming, right? So the Gallup's CLIFTON Strengths Assessment helps us to identify, understand, and maximize your strengths to better achieve your academic, personal, and career goals. So this is primarily going to be used by your EOF counselor. They're going to use this information about who you are, what strengths you bring to the table, to better figure out, okay, so these are your strengths, right? Like these are the things that you are awesome at or great at. How do we maximize this so that you are successful in college, that you meet those career goals that you have for yourself, your personal goals, your academic goals. So this is going to be just another building block or information step for us to use to better get to know you as you start your summer experience with us. So what are some key takeaways as I wrap up my session? I want to leave plenty of time for questions. And if you are part of the 1 p.m. session after this, some time to transition. So the number one thing is, Summer Institute starts June 28th and it goes to September, that had been a long time, July 30th. So that's number one, right? Keep that date in your brain. But the next most important thing is, what do I have to do to get there? Where am I at in the process? Have I done my financial verification? Did I take my placement test? Am I doing these questionnaires and the essays? Am I checking my email regularly? That's number one. So just kind of figuring out, where are you in this process? If you're not sure where you are in this process, you are welcome to email us. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have if you're confused or unsure. The other key takeaway about summer is that we expect you to be engage in and complete all aspects of the program. So the summer program is required for you to keep your EOF admissions and move forward, but hopefully it doesn't feel too much like a requirement once you get started and you get to know people and see that it's really just a way to support your transition into college. Communication is key. So emailing frequently, we email frequently. I email frequently. You probably see my emails a lot. You see Brandon's emails a lot. The university in general just sends a ton of emails. So please make sure that you're checking your email every day is what I would say. I'm not even going to give you another option. It should be every single day that you check your email. It's a good practice to get into. It's very easy to miss stuff. Sometimes I will say that stuff from the university can get, if you're using like a Gmail, for example, it could go in your junk box. So make sure you're also checking spam or junk, because sometimes things get just automatically put in there if it's not recognized, and they're probably not going to recognize it because it's all from Rutgers and this is new for you, right? So please, please, please make sure that you are checking your email and checking for communication frequently. Respond to emails, ask us questions, and let us know if what you might be struggling with. Okay. So contact us. If you have questions, most of you have our phone numbers or our contact information at this point, because we've been sending it to you, we've been texting you, but those are our emails for myself and Brandon. If you have questions about financial verification, you're not sure, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. You also, and it doesn't have to be just about financial verification, it could be about anything. So please, please reach out. My email, I check my email every single day. So don't feel like if you send me something, I'm not gonna respond. I do check, especially at this time of year. I'm always checking to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So no bad questions, no stupid questions, just please ask. The more you ask, the easier this will get. And that is pretty much it for me. Brandon just put his phone number in the chat for any of you who don't have it, although I feel like he's been blowing you up, so you should have it at this point. If you are registered for the 1 p.m. session with Mrs. Waters, I sent you an email probably about 45 minutes ago. It went out to her link for her session. So hopefully you should have it in your email, but let us know if you don't. If you registered for the 1 p.m. financial aid session with Mrs. Waters. Any question? I've been seeing that there's been questions in the chat.
One question in the chat, Ms. Ferguson, I believe it was, let me go back and see, Lewis who asked it. If not, somebody asked it, was where they can find the questionnaire to fill out before the Summer Institute week.
I can put that in right now. I'm just gonna copy Mrs. Waters' Zoom meeting information. For some reason it won't let me copy it.
There it is.
She just put it back in. Great.
Leslie,
thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
So let me put in that right now. Okay. So that this will be the link to the survey. It's also on our website. So there you go. Oh, you are welcome. We are happy to be helpful. And we are here to support you. We know this is scary. This is weird, uncomfortable. Anything you can think of, but I hope it's also exciting. And I hope you know that you have a support team that is going to help you in this process. EOF is a family. So you have to complete the essay by Sunday, June 27th. It shouldn't hopefully take too long. Like I said, it's about yourself. So hopefully it's an easy, we're not asking you to look up resources or, do anything like that. So it shouldn't be a heavy lift. But we definitely want you to put some work into it, right? Because we want to get to know you. We want to know who you are. Why do you want to be here? What do you want to do? Oh, Shia has a great question. Have any of the counselors been in the program themselves? I'm going to shout out Miss Waters down there,
The GOAT.
the GO of the EOF.
Yes, I was part of this program back in 1985. I graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School in Camden. Go Tigers. And I came in right into the Summer Institute. It was 6 weeks then. There were no dorms at the time, so that's definitely dating back. And so we had like a Monday through Friday, it was like an 8 to 5. It was like really intense. We had science, math, English. I mean, it was full. None of this Raptor one-on-one. We didn't have any of that. It was all classes all day long. So it was very, very intense. And the EOF program certainly changed my life. I was just coming out of high school. No one in my family had been to college. I felt alone. It was very, very supportive. And I felt by the time I started in September that I was fully prepared to go, into my classes with the knowledge that I needed. I didn't feel new at the time. I felt like I was ready. So thank you, the GOAT. So, again, this program is going to change your lives. It certainly changed my life. You're going to have so much support that other students who are not EOF, they don't have the same type of support, the same type of attention that you're going to get. And so, I definitely suggest give it all you've got, give it a chance. Don't just say, it's 5 weeks. Guess what? 5 weeks is going to happen. And guess what? I said that in 1985 and we're in 2000, what? 5 weeks, 6 weeks went by really fast, didn't it? Over 30 years ago. So I'm telling you, this is the best for you. So knock it out. Looking forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you, Mrs. Waters. And some of you will have Mrs. Waters as your counselor, but she has much knowledge. So she's the GOAT. So you just listen to what she says, you follow what she says, there's no questioning. But I hope you take someone's words, and we have peer coaches in here who've been through this process as well, a couple of years removed now, many years removed now. They will also tell you about their experiences, how, it changed them in different ways. For everyone, it's different, right? It may be super impactful, little impactful. It doesn't matter to us as long as it's a little impactful on your life. My goal for all of you is to walk away from this 5-week experience and not feel alone as you transition into college. That is the number one thing. That's why we do this program, so that you feel like, okay, I got at least, like I say this every year, and this is the truth even virtually, you can't walk away without at least one friend. Like there's like 50 people in this program. You have to like one person. So you are going to walk away.
You gotta try hard to walk away.
If you don't like people, if you don't have one friend, like then I'm questioning you, because you will meet all these great people. And I know it's a little weird virtually now, but then you'll see them on campus. Listen, if you haven't been to Camden, it's like one block. Like you can stand in the center and see all the buildings that are on our campus. You will see people all the time. You will see us, you will see your peers, you will see your professors. That is one of the best parts of Rutgers-Camden, is that it's small, it's inviting, it's a community. You get to know people very, very, very well. So going into this fall semester with that tribe of people, and we're hoping that later in August that we can welcome you to our campus. You can come in our center where we work. We haven't been there in a long time. I miss it, but we have a nice little center, and I know some of the coaches in here. I'm looking at you, Sabria, who is in our center all the time, hanging out. We love that space. It's a community. We have students. That's where tutoring takes place. So there's a lot of people in and out. But we're hoping you can see our campus too and really feel that community space. I know it's hard to feel that in virtually, but that's why we're here. We want to build that virtual community for you. And then tomorrow and sometime this week, you will meet Mr. Jones. He will be doing his EOF community workshop. I hope you get ready to get hyped up for that, because he is our hype man. But he is going to be talking a lot about the importance of community and how you're going to meet people in this space. Any questions? If you want to unmute yourself, you can unmute yourself. I know there's been a lot of questions in the chat. If you can't think of them right now, that's cool. You can email me or Brandon, or reach out to any of us. We are happy to help you. Questions? Are you excited, or you're like, oh my gosh, it's making me do more work? And promise it's for the best. It's going to help you feel in the fall when your professors are giving you a ton of things. You're like, okay, I was kind of prepared for this. This makes sense. Any questions before we close out?
We did have one question about in-person tours. And so I think you touched on that really quickly, Ms. Ferguson. But in August, we do plan to do that. Some of your wonderful peer coaches will be leading some tours in person. If for any reason we are not able to do that, I will say that typically the Office of New Student Programs has tents and such set up around campus on like the first week of classes. And so if at any point you're like, I'm not exactly sure where to go, you just kind of flag one of them down and they'll just walk you right to where you need to go. But yes, we do plan to do some in-person tours in August once we are closer to this semester.
Great, thank you, Miss Sarah. Brandon, I saw you had stuff to say.
I just have 2 things to say. Just because you're not going to get a session with me, so you won't have like me on my TED Talk talking about, all the tough love and all of this and that. So just my one note that I will give you on that piece is this, just like most things in life, you will get the most out of it and what you put into it. As cliche as that is, that's beyond Rutgers-Camden, that's life in general, is what you put into it. So if you are not putting in the effort, and I'm not saying every day you got to give you 100%, because some days I'm giving my 25 and that's what I got, and you're going to take it or leave it. But really, it's the honest truth. You will get what you put in. You got a whole community here. And I know for some people, the idea of like a family or tribe or people texting you and calling you the way that I do may not feel as normal as it may not come as normal to you. But just know that there really is a group here who wants to pour back into you in meaningful ways. We just need you to be willing to kind of pour in and give back into that, right? So, and communicate with us if whatever that looks like for you. But that's my first piece that I wanted to share. And then my second piece, just because I could talk a lot, and I know you're gonna hear a lot of these orientation kind of talking points, but with the whole Summer Institute, you're gonna be in a room with so many other names and heads floating around. Make the effort to get to know the other people in this space, right? You got a whole chat here. There's nothing stopping any of you from saying, hey, as scary as it is, this is who I am. These are what my goals are. Who are you? Build this network here. I know some people have said that, hey, I've been friends and I've made friends in this program, but really that first core group that you're gonna meet is these individuals here. And there's a lot of other people in this virtual room or who aren't in this room that are gonna be in this program. So really make an effort, and we're gonna try to facilitate that throughout the weekend in our program. But y'all should be able to walk away from the Summer Institute with at least being able to say, hey, not only do I have Mr. Brandon and Sarah and the GOAT Caroline, like these professional staff, but you should be able to walk away and say, hey, I got Genesis to have my back too, or Diego, or vice versa. But you got to work at that. The older you get, it's a little harder to build friendships, right? It's not like you with these students from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. because y'all rode the same school bus and Mrs. whoever from homeroom was yelling at y'all because y'all are being obnoxious. Like, y'all don't build the relationships that way. You got to cultivate this yourself. So really try to put some effort into that throughout this process. So that's me preaching real quick, and then I'll stop. But it's always a pleasure to be able to see a new group of students come on in, and I'm excited to see how you all grow.
Thank you, Brandon. Preaching is welcome. I welcome it all the time. I'm sorry, you guys are going to just hear it all summer long. It's fine. That's what we do, but we do it because we care about you guys. We care about your success. And that's why we harp on these things, because we know we've all been through this experience of coming into college and just not knowing what's going to happen, and being scared or alone. So that's why we want to support you. So please reach out, please use your resources. But I want to wrap it up because I know some of you are attending Mrs. Waters' session in a few minutes. Give you a couple minutes away from the screen before you log on. If you have, I'm recording this, so I will put this recording up if you need to re-review it, but you are welcome to reach out to me with any questions. But otherwise, thank you all so much. It was so great seeing some of your faces. Excited to kick off this orientation week with you all. And we will see you throughout the week. So we'll see some of you soon. Bye, everyone.